Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this. I don't know if we're going to call it an official part of the DB Craft series, or if we'll put it on Tech Table, or if we'll just. I think I'll stick it on my main video page, but it's a tech-oriented video for Minecraft. So, real quick background information. I went ahead and I braved the scalpers, and I purchased an EVGA GeForce GTX 1650 Super SC Ultra video card for $430 roughly after tax and shipping. Got it from eBay, found to buy it now with that price. And I figured it would be worth it. Somebody had said I'd get double my speed, and I did. There's a whole video on that on my Bliss Tech channel, and I'll have a link to it maybe at the end of this video, showing me unboxing the new card, and then removing the old card, and installing the new card, and getting everything running. I gave up on my dream of having an RTX ray tracing build card and system. I could probably do an RTX card in my system, but I think I'm really going to have to just build a new system. I'm running on a gaming PC that I put together back in 2013 to 2012 in that time period. So, while I could probably run one of the RTX cards, I'm not sure that I have the best everything else for that. And the RTX cards are very hard to get a hold of right now. So, I just went ahead and gave up on the whole idea of having a RTX ability for Minecraft. Besides which, I don't really do Windows 10. I do have it on here. I have a dual boot system, but I don't really play Windows 10. I use Windows 7, so I'm just sticking with the Java edition of Minecraft. Well, come to find out, I can now do a little bit more on my settings. I can enjoy better graphics and stuff with Minecraft. This video will be a test and a demonstration, as well as going over some settings for the one texture pack that I found that gives the person who uses it the capability to enjoy. I don't know if it's very close to RTX, because I don't know if you got some of the lighting effects, but being able to get very close to that kind of quality of a Minecraft experience and still be playable. And this would work for, like, I guess some people are doing this on 1080 video cards, so this will work even down to older. I'm assuming the 1080 and 1050 are older than mine. It'll work as long as your system's powerful enough and you have a reasonably good video card. I almost forgot to have the BSL Shaders ready here, link. Okay. So you're going to need two things. You're going to need the NAPP, and I'll have a link below, resource pack. Now be prepared, this can crunch your system. I'm going to try and go over the settings and explain to you some of the stuff that I went through. Hopefully you'll be able to use it. If you're having trouble with it, let me know in the comments below, because I like to solve problems. So if we're all getting together and getting details, having detailed information, we might be able to drill down to an issue. Theoretically, NAPP will work on any resource pack. I'm going to recommend that you use the BSL shader pack, because that's what they tested on. I like the complementary shader pack best of all, but I did manage to get BSL working the way I want, so now I'm using BSL, and I'll recommend that. They have instructions at their Discord server, the NAPP resource pack, the people that create that. They have instructions on installing and on some of the basic settings and stuff that you need to change for each shader pack. So you're going to need to know how to install shaders and how to install resource packs. I'm not going to go over that here. You're going to need to know the capabilities of your system. If you're running an i3 processor and you have something like I had, an R7870 video card, and you have maybe 4 gigabytes of RAM, I'm not 100% sure you're going to be able to run something like this. You're going to have to test. I don't know a baseline to say that it has to be above. I don't know. All you can really do is experiment or know from your own experience just playing default Minecraft without any texture packs or any resource packs or any shaders, or even just doing default Minecraft with some shader packs. If it chucks, if you're getting a lot of performance issues, it could be a setting. It could also be that you're just not able to handle it. You're going to have to experiment and figure that out. But you're going to need those two things, NAPP texture pack and the BSL shader pack. Get the latest ones of those. You're going to need to have Optifine or OptiFabric with Fabric, or OptiForge, or I don't know if it's OptiForge or if it's Optifine with Forge. I think it's Optifine with Forge for Forge. It is recommended that you use Optifine directly, but if you want to use something like World Edit, then that's not going to work, so you'll have to figure it out. I'm using OptiFabric through Fabric API right now. And I think I have a whole nother video that shows you how to install all of that stuff. So if you have any questions about that, I'll either link it below or I'll put it at the end. I think I'll link it below. Goes through all the beginning materials. I have to redo it again, but that will show you how to get all of that stuff in there. Once you have everything in place, there's one more thing you've got to do. Now, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM on this system. I wanted to go higher. I think my system can take up to 32 or 64, but they didn't make a dual kit higher than 8 gigs back in the day for when I put this computer together. And even today, the 60 and 32 gigabyte sticks are kind of rare, but they're a different slot, different pin structure. So the most I could get was 16, but that gives me enough because I have been told through the Discord server, through the person that I was working with, Ariel, on the Discord server for the NAPP resource pack, and they said that Minecraft wouldn't need more than 8 gigs. I have a swap file set up for my computer for between 2 and 4 gigs, and then I've gone through here and I've gone to edit, and I've gone through each one of these options settings, and where you have this XM8, it's probably saying 2 or 1G right now, you can put in whatever works with your system. I'd say half of your RAM. So if you have 4 gigabytes of RAM, put in a 2. If you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, put in a 4. If you have 16, put in an 8, and so forth. But I don't think you'll have to go higher than 8. So make sure you do that for each thing. So I have that done for the Fabric Loader, for Optifine, for Forge, and for the latest release. I go over this in more detail, as I said in that other setup video. Alright, so now let's go ahead and load up the game, and we'll go through some settings. Okay, so I'm going to be testing a few things. I know how fast with the new card a world generates and loads now. It is super fast, a lot faster than what I had before. I'm going to be testing that. I've got replay viewer off, so that won't be distracting. And I want to see if it'll load into the world, because I was having some bugs where it would load into the world and I would be like at 0 to 1 frame a second. And I think it had something to do with connected textures, but messing around with the connected texture settings, it did variable things. It didn't stay consistent. So let's go ahead and take a look at the settings, and then we'll go into the game and we'll see what we see. So under your resource packs, you will have NAPP at the top. If you're using Fabric, you'll have, or Forge or whatever else, if they have something, you'll have that underneath that. Let me know if that's wrong. What I think this is how it's supposed to be. Programmer art will be under that. Default will be under that. Now, if this is the wrong stack, then let me know. But as I understand it, the thing that's changing everything else needs to be at the top. So this is changing all of that. This is changing that. And this is changing that, and this is so forth, because this is the default. Everything's built on top of it. But I don't know if I have that right. Maybe these two have to be swapped. I don't know, but you should have these items. You won't have the Fabric if you're not using Fabric, of course, so you don't have to worry about that. You'll just have the NAPP, the program art default, unless Forge has something you have to put over here, or Optifine has something you have to put over here, but otherwise it'll just be the 3. So, under video settings, you're going to go to shaders, you're going to select BSL. The latest release that I have is 8.0.0.1, although that will probably be soon to be updated. Under shader options, I stuck with initially with high at first, and then I have done some customizations for my system. I haven't messed with too much here. I have the shadow filtering on, I have the ambient occlusion on. I don't know what the desaturation is for sure, but I'm leaving that on. I have these 2 light maps off. I've left all of this pretty much the default here. Under atmospherics, I've kept the clouds at default and the sky to saturation on. I've turned on aurora, that's what's recommended. I've turned on a spherical distance fade. I've got light shafts, I've got the round sun and moon because that's how I prefer to see things. I haven't messed much with the sky or cloud. I haven't messed much with the fog. I've put the light shafts on. So I've left those pretty much the defaults there except for the settings in green that you see. And are related to settings in Minecraft itself that we're going to have to look at too. So I've got depth of field off. I've never really been, I tried to use it and it's kind of a cool effect, but I just can't get into it. I don't like motion blur, so I turned that off. I got bloom on, lens flare on. I turned the anti-aliasing to TAA. I don't know if XAA is better for my system or worse. I'm still experimenting with this. I turned off the vignette because it uses so much FPS to use the vignette, and all it does is darken the edge of the screen. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. I've left all of these alone. You can pause the video at any of these screens and go through the settings and check them in comparison to what you have. Color, I haven't really done anything here, so you don't even have to worry about that. Material is important. You'll need advanced materials on, and the default is the SUSE PBR, and that's what I was told you need to use. Under reflections, I turned off the rough reflection. I didn't need reflection on rough objects, but I wanted the rain reflection on full, which is what's recommended. I didn't leave this on. I don't think it matters to me. So those are the changes that I've made here. Reflections are, of course, on. Under parallax, I turned off the self shadow as recommended. This, they recommend to go to 512. I turned it down. I don't need super high-end fancy. Just want to run good, and I'm getting about 30 to 40 frames a second, and I'm hoping with the recording it doesn't go down so far that it becomes unplayable. It's already kind of sluggish, and I don't want that. I think part of the problem is my monitor and its refresh rate. I don't have a monitor, I have a TV, so I'm thinking that that's causing some issues there. It's chugging it a little, because if I try to go to the VSync type option in the main game options, it doesn't work. I get like 2 frames a second, or no, I get like a 2 hertz. I don't remember what it did, but it did something that made everything slow down. It didn't work right. I've left this, I think, alone. Water is just the way it was when they put it in there. I did turn the tone map lower curve up to 1.4, which is what they recommended, and by they recommended, of course, I'm referring to the NAPP resource pack Discord, the person I was talking to, Ariel, and their guides. Ariel didn't recommend this. That was in the guide that he pointed me to that I checked before I had went and asked questions, but that's where that's from. Left everything else the same. And then under world, I wanted the waving. I left this default. I wanted all the stuff waving. I didn't do anything with curvature. I left that alone. I don't know if I want to play with that or not yet. I haven't decided. I kind of like the flat look of Minecraft for right now. It works for me. Alright, so that's your settings. Up here I have FXAA at 4X, and that's another setting I have to figure out if I need to keep that or move it or change it. Same for these two, but I think these have to be on as well. Now that's not everything. There's also some settings you have to change over here under details. Stick these at default. That's what my experimenting has found. That leaves the shader pack and the resource pack to control it, so stick them at default. You do need the sun on, but you can turn the sun and moon off because that's provided with either the shader or the resource pack or both. I put the fog on fast. I might change that. I haven't decided yet. I've done default with the translucent blocks. Dropped items, I kept it fancy. I did default here for the vignette, so that should be off because I turned it off in the settings. Left this at default. Those are the changes I made here. I've turned off alternate blocks. I was recommended somewhere else to turn off alternate blocks. I turned off cloud height because I didn't need that artificial ceiling there either. Under quality, I have MIP map, antroscopic, trilinear, and anti-aliasing. I have trilinear here, but I have everything else turned off. That allows the shader and the resource, well, I guess it would be a shader pack to take control of that. Got emissive textures. I did the grass speed up slightly. I went with fast grass. Connected textures is tricky. I turned it on. I had it on fancy and it chugged. Then I turned it off and it ran better. Then I turned it on fast and ran even better yet, and then it slowed down, chugged again. I can't figure out what's going on with that, so it's now off. But I would recommend either off or fast, but I think the way they've done the NAPP texture pack is they expect this to be off, although I don't recall that being explicitly said anywhere. So just keep it off, I think would be the best thing here. Custom sky on, so the resource in the texture pack, or resource in the shader pack can control that. All the rest is the same. Custom colors, better snow, everything here is all the same. These settings haven't been changed. Under performance, I'm still trying to figure out the best settings for my system. Do I turn this on? Do I turn this on? Do I mess with this? I don't know. This is where I've left it. I did a smooth FPS and smooth world. Speaking of the FPS, I have the show FPS on, so we'll take a look at that here in a second. But yeah, this frame rate thing is troubling me. Do I put it at 30 because the video that I record at when I'm using OBS is 30 frames a second? So do I stick my max frame rate at 30? My TV runs at a 60 Hertz refresh rate, so will that make it run better and smoother? Or do I stick it at 60 and still do my 30 frames a second OBS recording? I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. Or do I put it on unlimited? It says unlimited is faster. I don't know. I stuck the render distance to 24 chunks. If you can go to 16, that's okay. 20 is even better. I don't think you need more than 24. You definitely don't need more than 32. If you can go 32 without having it chug your system, you've got a really powerful system, then go for it. I mean, the higher you can go, better. But I think it looks pretty good right between the 16 and 24 marks. I'm going with 24 right now. And graphics are fancy, smooth lighting at maximum, dynamic lights are fancy, and those are the settings that I have right now, and I'm not using view bobbing. So now let's see what the results are, and you can see why this pack is pretty impressive. Keep in mind that the pack is Patreon supported, and they have a paid version and a free version, and you'll have to go to their site to find out more about that, but they're definitely looking for support through Patreon for their project, and I think it might be worth it. Alright, let's go to single player, and in fact I'm actually thinking about donating a little bit to their campaign at some point. I want to see what happens here with OBS running. That still is fast, so that hasn't slowed down, because I have 8 gigs set aside for Java, which will be running through Minecraft. But then I have 8 gigs set aside for OBS, so I think I'm good. And yeah, it doesn't look like it affected my frame rate too much. It's about where it was when I left. Look at that. I've got this reflective floor. We've got these lines here. You can see the 3D detail. It's slightly cartoony, but I don't mind that. It looks really good, I think. I like how the edges are done. Without the connected textures, the glass doesn't blend, but I'm pretty happy with that. I like how all the crafting stuff looks. It looks like there's an actual item sitting on there. So that's why you want this texture pack, because this is going to give you the best graphics that you can get until you can get your mitts on an RTX card and have some RTX support. Let's go out and hopefully we won't get blown up. We'll look at the beautiful sunrise. Check that out. How's that for your eyeballs? Somebody over here is dying and coming after me, and they didn't make it. Anyway, when you come up to an ore or something like this, it looks like it's sticking out of the texture. That's the big deal with this. Look at that. And when you get up close to the stone, take a look at that. It looks, it's like it's 3D there. I like the way the portal looks better. The glowing stuff in the nether's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing when I'm in the nether. That's where I'm going to be exploring next. Yeah, you can see all the glow, the lava. It looks hot. It looks neat down there. I'm not 100% sure I'm a fan of all of the texture choices they have used, but overall I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here. And so this is what I'll be playing with temporarily unless I decide to change. Even the bark has kind of a 3D appearance. It's a little cartoony, but I don't mind a little cartoony. I kind of like that. But that pretty much shows you how to set up and get running with this particular texture pack, which is the NAPP texture pack, using the BSL shaders. Go ahead and give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any issues. I'm using the latest version of BSL that I know that it's out, and I'm using the latest version of NAPP, but these things will be updated pretty regularly. And I think you get even more if you become a Patreon member of the NAPP community there and support them through Patreon. They get special stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which I want to start right after this. Okay, well, that concludes this episode. Be sure to leave a thumb up if you like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or any of my other videos. Be sure to hit that notification icon so that you can be notified when any new videos are released. And leave me some comments, feedback, suggestions so that I can improve and do even better for you guys. Also, please stop by my Teespring store. I've got more designs coming over from Spreadshirt, but this is what I have here right now. I've got 3 cool designs. I've got this mask does not equal safe. It's kind of an attitude for everybody trying to make us wear masks right now. I've got this Zen saying and drawing that I did, to reach your destination, embrace the journey. I think that's really cool. I've got a poem over here. Poem says, life doesn't have to be so hard. It has a flow. Sometimes you'll drift, sometimes you'll row, but you get to choose the destination you'll go. I think that's really cool also. So go ahead and grab some of this stuff, and that will support me and help me in my continuing work at YouTube, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.